So I'm a single parent. We were quite well off. My husband who had a very high paying job and all, but then he turned into business and he incurred a lot of losses. Then he passed away and I was left with all the loans and everything and I don't have any savings. Now I'm starting to get worried.
This looks like a very, very tough time for you. इस हफ्ते के मनी मैटर्स एपिसोड में हमारे साथ हैं एक ऐसी शख्स जो अपनी आइडेंटिटी रिवील नहीं करना चाहती और उनकी हम इस रिक्वेस्ट को एब्सोल्युटली रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं। तो प्लीज वेलकम आवर गेस्ट फॉर दिस एपिसोड ऑफ मनी मैटर्स। कैसी हैं आप? हाउ आर यू?
I'm good. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we understand that you are not comfortable sharing your identity and we absolutely respect that. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you are comfortable with, so that the audience and I both can get to know you?
Yeah. Yes. I'm basically from Kerala.
Okay.
I was married and I have 2 kids. So my husband passed away in 2018.
Yeah.
So I'm a single parent. My daughter is in 10th grade and my son is in 7th. We were quite well off. My husband who had a very high paying job and all, but then he turned into business and he incurred a lot of losses. So, that was there. But he refused to, let go of the business, although I asked him. Then in 2018, he passed away, and I was left with all the loans and everything. So we had a very nice house in Cochin, which we had to sell, and I paid off all the debts. And whatever little money I had it. Then I came to Bangalore with my kids. I came to Bangalore because I didn't want to be around, everybody who knew me. I want to have a fresh start. So I came here, but that was when the COVID and the lockdown happened. So I didn't have a job for about 2 years. Although I started one, then I had to quit it. Like the company then broke. So I had to go 2 years without the job. So whatever money I had left after the sale of the house, it is over. Then I got a job, a very low paying job. But I was leaving because some of the money that was left from the house sales proceeds was also there. And then last year I got a better job, which I'm doing right now. And it is very good for me because I'm at home. It is a night job, night shift. So I can take care of my kids also. So I'm happy with it. But the thing is, although it pays better than what I was getting paid earlier, I'm not able to make ends meet because of the expenses, the rent, the school fees, everything. And I don't have any savings. I'm starting to get worried about how I'll pay for my kids' higher education and what I'll do for after retirement. So I just need some sort of a advice or a guidance from you.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing, firstly. This looks like a very, very tough time for you. And I don't even know how to react. You seem to be stating things, and I'm sure there is a lot of process that has got you to this point where you're just saying these as a matter of fact. But ये मुश्किल तो नहीं रहा होगा, and I'm sure वो मुश्किल अभी भी नहीं है. It's not easy, and it would not have been easy. So I should share my respect and my gratitude towards how you've managed so far, and the fact that you're still holding up. I'm sure for your kids more than yourself, and it's a very valid concern you have right now. That how will I make ends meet? How will I plan for the future? Your kids' education, your retirement, and so on. Okay, so you are completely independent, taking care of yourself, your 2 kids. Your brothers, I assume, are taking care of your mother and, of course, themselves. So you don't have at least their additional responsibility. You have your responsibility towards your family. And that's what you are concerned about. Okay.
Yeah. But
yeah,
one
sorry.
thing.
Please.
Actually, now that I got a better job, like my mother was also saying, even girls can take, give something to their mother. You are getting a salary, so you can do that. But the thing is, she doesn't understand how much my expenses are. There is no point in explaining all that to them also.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I totally understand. Are they still in Kerala?
They are in Canada.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Um, I have a few questions that I would want to ask before we get started in the financial thing. If you feel uncomfortable answering these questions, please say so, and it will be absolutely fine. Don't hesitate at all because I want you to be comfortable. Number one, have you at all considered marrying again?
So, getting married to somebody else, I have to think about my kids because will they adjust with their new person? So that is a big issue. I want my kids to be happy. So that is a obstacle.
Okay. Have you ever had a conversation with them about this, or you feel they're too young? Or
Yes, they are okay, but we don't know how that person will be. The new person will be whether once we start living with them, only we'll get to know that exactly how they are. And my kids are also not very small kids; they are teenagers, so it is always difficult for a new person to gel with them. So that might cause I don't want my kids to be sad.
Sure. Okay. But is it okay to say that you're not close to the idea if at any point of time in the future you find the right person and your kids also feel comfortable?
Yeah, I might.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay. That's all that I needed to know. The other question that I have is, since you have a remote job and you don't have to be physically present, are you open to moving out of Bangalore to maybe a different city? Not go back to Kerala, but let's say a different city?
Yeah, yes, but the problem is my kids also love being here.
Yeah.
I had spoken to them about it, and I have some friends here who are really supporting me when I came here alone with the kids. I was not familiar with the place. So I'm pretty happy here, but I'm not opposed to the idea of moving to London.
Got it. Okay. All right. Wonderful. These were the only two questions that I had. Thank you for being honest and taking them well. Let's try and understand your financial situation right now, and I will try my best to help you. Okay. Let's start with your income. So, what is your monthly in-hand salary that you get?
54,000.
Okay, it's 54,000. Do you know if there are any deductions in this, PF or anything?
PF is there.
Okay, how much is that?
Yeah, it is 2,800 something.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Let's talk about your expenses now. Start with whatever are the big categories, please.
Rent.
Yes, I would imagine.
17,000.
Sorry, how much?
17,000.
Okay, 17,000 is your rent.
The maintenance charges are there, 1,500.
Okay.
Then I have the Wi-Fi, phone, electricity, etc.
Yeah.
So Wi-Fi is around 1,400 to 1,500 per month.
Okay.
Phone for me and my daughter with single connection, so that comes to around 950 rupees per month.
Okay.
Then electricity is sometimes it is zero, sometimes it is because we have that if it is less than 200 units we get a zero.
Okay. Zero. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
But during the summer months it will be high. So in a year it might be around 8,000 rupees.
Got it.
And I have a part-time maid for sweeping and mopping, so that is 2,000 rupees. So, and pets, I have 2 cats. So that comes to around 4,000 rupees for them. Litter, food, everything.
Got it.
And the food expenses, I think the bulk of my expenses is food. It comes to around 15 to 20,000 rupees per month. Then we order sometimes from Swiggy, so that also comes to around 3,000 or 4,000. Once in a month, I take my kids out. Usually once a month. So that comes to around 2,000 rupees, maybe for a movie and some food. So it will come to around 2,000.
Okay.
Then the other toiletries, cleaning things, all that things, 1,500. Then the subscriptions like YouTube Premium or Netflix and all that around monthly 700 rupees. Then my kids' fees in a year, for both of them, it comes around 1,30,000.
Okay.
And now that my daughter's finishing her 10th, maybe if she's going to a college, it will be more.
Yeah. Got it.
And I have an SIP, that is my only saving, which I
Okay.
started last October. That is monthly 5,000 rupees.
Okay.
Then I have a health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 10 lakh coverage. And I'm paying 24. I paid recently, I paid 24,207
Okay.
for me and my kids for
Sure.
1 year. And then there is a water purifier AMC, which will renew each year. That comes to around 8,000 rupees per year.
Mm-hmm.
So then my son's keyboard lessons, 1,500 per
This
month.
is per month, yeah.
Per month, yeah. So this is what is normally there. But sometimes, some
Sometimes.
hospital visit, or if I go to native for some wedding or something, then
Yeah.
everything goes out of hand. Like,
Yeah.
it's too expensive. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a lot.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Travel, you go to visit, you go to some relatives' house, you have to take some gift. Then the wedding. All that.
Yeah. Okay. Understand.
Mm.
So if I add all of this,
Yeah.
I get 73,000 rupees a month.
Yeah.
You're earning 54. How are you filling in the gap right now? Around 20,000 rupees a month?
Yeah, it was like, see, some of these expenses are, like yearly or quarterly.
Yeah.
So apart from that, all the others I can manage in a month.
Got it.
And
when the yearly expenses happen, then
whatever I had, a little bit of the sales proceeds, I have exhausted all that.
Got it.
And sometimes I get a loan from my brother or somebody, and then I have to pay it little by little. Or then there is a cousin who has a little bit of my money with him. It was a loan, and he's ready to give it back to me.
Got it.
What is happening is I am scared to take it because I'm scared that I will just spend it all.
Yeah.
So what has happened during the last 2 years, whenever I have this crunch, when I need a bulk amount of money, I will ask him to, just send me 50,000 or maybe 1 lakh. So then I will pay all these deficits.
Got
So
it.
that is how I've been managing till now.
Got it. Okay. Understand. Completely understand. How much will be your cash in the bank right now?
His salary is not credited. Now I have about 30,000 rupees.
Okay. You've mentioned that all the money from the sale proceeds is over. Do you have any other asset? Anything at all?
The sales proceeds, it was because it was in my husband's and my name. So the kids were also heirs. So because the kids were minors, we had to, give about 4,80,000 in each child's name and
Got
put it into an FD, which is under the court's, lien.
Yeah.
So only after they are 18, we can take it.
Wonderful. So both the kids have 4,80,000 each?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So that's at least something that they will have. So kids have 480 each. Okay. There are two ways of thinking about the future. I have to first start with the fact that you have so far managed the household expenses very nicely with any source of income that you had, whether it was a sale proceed, your previous jobs, your current jobs. So you have been floating. You have thankfully, and I'm really, really happy that you've not taken any personal loan, you've not taken any credit card, you've not got into the same trap that your husband fell into when it came to the business. Because
I use it. I have a credit card and I use it, but I make sure that I pay the whole amount when it's due, so that I don't want, there was a problem with my husband, like it was a lot. I had to pay it off after I sold the house. So I make sure that I don't keep any, balance.
Exactly. No, I think you're playing that very smart. Absolutely. So good job there. It will build your credit score. It will give you reward points. It will give you 1 month of credit time. So it will just help you manage the cash flow better, which is the perfect way to manage a credit card. So, two ways of thinking about the future. Whenever there is a situation such as this where the income is just about matching expenses or is actually slightly lower than the expenses, the natural way of thinking about it is one, lower the expenses, two, increase the income. These are the obvious two ways to think about it. Let's talk about lowering the expense first. There is only so much that one can reduce the expenses by, because there is a certain lifestyle, there is a certain life, there are certain basic needs, necessities that have to be met. So my suggestion is, here is what I would want you to do. For the next 1 month, track every single penny that you spend. Every single penny that you spend. If you're doing it already, I'll tell you what to do next. But if you're not, then I'm assuming all of this goes through your bank account. So every day.
I was doing that. I was using an app on my phone and I was doing that. Then I, 2 months I did that and I just got crazy looking at it. I deleted the app.
No, and why did you get crazy? I'm just curious. What was the crazy part?
All the expense.
Yes.
I did not matching with the income. So much.
No. You know what? I'm really happy that you said this. And look, it's very, very easy for me to say anything that I will say right now. So I really request that you take it with the right spirit, because I don't mean any disrespect. You've gone through so much that I cannot even possibly imagine how hard this has been for you. My sense, and this is just me with zero context of your life, my sense is that as a single parent with 2 teenage kids, you of course want to give your kids the life that they deserve, that they should have, that they ought to have had, they could have had. But they're not, because things happen. And in that, it is possible that you would occasionally stretch on things that you may not have done otherwise. So what I want you to do when I say look at your expenses every month is not for you to get overwhelmed or anxious and think that there is no way out, but for you to be absolutely clear that what is money that I have to spend every single month and what is money that I choose to spend every single month. And that choice is what I'm focused on, because that choice is actually a choice. It could mean a conversation with you and your kids saying, you know what, for the next 2 years, we may have to make a choice that we will not indulge in a few things that we have been indulging in. That we may not be able to do those things that we think we should be doing or we deserve to do because we have to protect our future. The choice could be that instead of spending it on that, maybe we replace it with something else. For example, I'm just thinking aloud. You spend about 3,500 on ordering food. Maybe the choice you make is for the next 2 years, we will have, whenever we want to order food, just a family dinner where we make something that is not your usual thing. Maybe we'll make pizza at home. Maybe we'll make burgers at home. Maybe we'll make pasta at home. Maybe you're already doing it. But let's see if we can bring this 3,500 to zero for the next 1 year. And not because you don't deserve it. Of course you deserve all of this. It is because you, as a single parent, with the absolute responsibility of not just your life, but that of your kids who are nearly grown-up adults now, you have to do everything to protect your future. And after 5 years, if you are in the same spot that you are right now, and I asked you, hey, what could you have done differently in the last 5 years that may have, to some extent, changed where you are? And when you look at everything, you'll be like, you know what? We ended up spending 3,000 to 4,000 rupees every month on ordering out. That was 50,000 a year. And that could have been 2.5, 3.5 lakhs today, which could have made all the difference between where we are and where we could have been. Because it's not that we needed that. We just did it because in that moment it felt nice. So I'm sensitive to the fact there are some things which are absolutely important. And Bangalore is not a cheap city by any measure. So you're already doing fairly well by having all of these expenses. But wherever you can, you should question, if I have this choice of spending this, am I making the right choice or not? Can I do with some other choice? Can I do without this choice? And just do it for 1 month with that objective. Does that make sense? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for receiving that well. The other thing is on then your income. Two ways of again thinking about it. One is you have a job, it pays you decent, you have flexibility over your time, it wonderfully matches because your kids also have online school. So as the years progress, you will keep growing in that job, earning more. But you could think of ways where you increase this income. Because the beauty about income versus expenses is that while expenses have a threshold below which they cannot go down, income has no threshold. It can actually become 3 times what you are, 10 times of what you're earning right now. And there's no stopping it. The stop is mostly in our head. Because if I tell you, hey, you're earning 54,000 rupees a month, how can you by December be earning 1.5 lakh rupees a month? And you'll be like, it's not possible. Well, it is possible. Your mind is telling you it's not possible because you're only thinking straight. You're only thinking one job to another job to another job. So you're like, in my job, I can't grow to 1.5 lakhs in 9 months. Even if I get another job, maybe the 54,000 will become 60, 65,000, 70,000 if I'm lucky. It's not going to become 1.5 lakhs. So there's no way that I can get to 1.5 lakhs. But if I were to tell you, no, there are ways of getting to 1.5 lakhs if you don't think straight, but you think in all possible directions. What if you started something on the side? What if you took tuitions? What if you started helping international kids with their homework? What if you actually learned a skill that you are good at and started teaching others? What if you started helping or freelancing for people in your spare time? What if you did something that you are good at, that you've never seen as a money-making thing, but the moment requires you to rise up to that and see how far it can go. Now, when I say this, is there any idea that comes in your mind that you could consider as a side income? Any idea at all?
Yes, actually, my friend, they are starting a new business. They have started a new business, and actually, they have asked me to do their accounts for them.
Okay.
So they won't be able to pay me much, but I said, okay, I can help them. So that
how much is that much? What did they share a number?
They can pay me 5,000 in the beginning.
Okay.
They will do the most of the accounts, but just to make it tally, balance it, everything, make a round thing. So for
are you good with tally?
I am good with tally.
Okay. Are you good with accounts in general?
I was an accountant. I was earlier working as an accountant.
Okay, great. So here is something that I can tell you. The world needs accountants because accounting is something that every business needs. There is no escaping it. There is no business on earth which doesn't have an accountant. There are businesses that may not have salespeople. There are businesses that may not have support. There are businesses which may not have HR, but there is no business on earth that doesn't have an accountant. Accountants are there for every business out there. Once you realize this, you realize that what you know is very precious. So if you stop thinking of yourself as just another accountant, but think of yourself as someone that every business needs, then you can actually be like, you know what, instead of, and I'm not saying that don't work for your friends, but you'll be like, you know what, the same time that I spend working with my friends and getting 5,000, I could actually work with an international business who wants to outsource their accounts to somebody sitting in India or in Philippines or someplace else, and they're ready to pay $20 an hour for that work. And they'll be like, we want you to work for 10 hours a week, which is $200, which is today 17, 18,000 rupees. And you can definitely, in the time that you seem to have, spend 10 hours a week. And $20 is not money that is crazy. Huh? $20 is actually at the lowest end of what accountants would perhaps ask for. So if you were to now challenge yourself and be like, I have to find that $10 an hour work and 10 hours a week work and earn $200, $300, $400 a month, this month itself, don't give yourself a choice. Don't just settle. Don't just take it easy. Don't take whatever comes your way, but go and find what is the path you can be on. You will be surprised at how easily you will get that $200, $300 job. You'll actually be surprised. But it requires you to have a very different mindset. And it has two components. One, what you know is precious. It is not some random thing. I wish I could call you by your name right now because that will make it so impactful. But you have to recognize that who you are is not some random skill, some random person in some random place. You know something that a lot of people hate. I hated accounting because I can't just understand it. It's not interesting for me. It's not something that I can wrap my head around. But I know that I have to work with an accountant. So that's number one. And number two, whatever you know, if you were to try hard, you can get it sitting where you are, with the world being your customer, your client. You don't have to go to your friends or your relatives and beg for anything. What you know is so precious that almost every business in this world will be happy to take on the skill that you have. You just have to fight and get that. And today is the 7th of April. I'm saying you have 23 days to make this happen for you this month itself. And if you are determined that it will happen this month itself, like literally today when, it's 3:47, your kid's school is already over. But as soon as this call is gone, go back to your kids and be like, here's a promise that I have to make. And you have to hold me accountable to this promise that by the end of this month, I will find a freelance accounting job that will pay me at least $200 a month. And you have to ask me every day, Mama, did you work towards it? Mama, did you work towards it? Did you send that email? Did you apply for that job? Did you go on Upwork, Fiverr, wherever else to find that job, submit that application, send that cold email, and just reach out. Did you do that? I want you to become my accountability partners. They will love the responsibility. You will love that push. And I can assure you by the end of this month, you will have it. Does this make sense?
My comfort zone.
You have to get out of your comfort zone. And no, I feel stupid and ashamed even saying that you have to get out of your comfort zone because you have been outside of your comfort zone for the last 7 years. Nobody in the right mind can be like, hey, you've made your life comfortable. You've had an extremely difficult life. Certainly with your husband's passing. So it's stupid of me to even make that comment. I'm not making that comment. But I'm saying, wherever you are, I think you are underselling yourself and underestimating your potential. If somebody is willing to pay you 54,000 rupees for a remote job, trust me, there are businesses that are willing to pay you just as much for you to take on another job. And all that you have to ensure is there's no conflict of interest. There's nothing that you're doing which is against the law. And that's it. Go and increase your income. So these two approaches. For the next 30 days, track every single penny of yours. Every single penny of yours. And you will find ways of reducing 2, 3, 4,000 rupees from your monthly spends. while still maintaining the lifestyle that you have and not feeling that it has made you unhappy. And then simultaneously focus on increasing your income. And if both of them happen, no, when you reduce your expense and you increase your income, you suddenly will have free money, and that will give you immense power. Even if that free money is 5,000 rupees a month. But the fact that you're earning from this 54, let's say 75,000, and your expenses have dropped from 73,000 to 65,000, and you have that 10,000 to spare, that itself will make you a winner. It is all that you will need. The good thing is your kids have around 5 lakhs once they turn 18. It is going to grow. Yes, it's an FD, but that's perfectly fine. So to a reasonable extent, their education is taken care of unless they go for something very expensive, maybe say a doctor or whatever, but they can take an education loan, and I'll encourage you to remind them that their education most likely is going to be funded by an education loan for which they will be responsible. And seed that in their head every single day. Not because you are going away from your responsibility, but they need to be adults to understand the situation and to recognize that they need to bear the responsibility of their own education. And that will be by taking a loan, plus the money that will come to them at 18. And you will have to ensure that till that time, you're doing your job as your parent and filling in all the corpus towards the investment that you've made. Like this SIP of 5,000 can easily be an SIP of 10,000, 15,000, perhaps even more. Did this make sense?
Yes, it does.
What part of it do you find the hardest, or anything that you don't agree with? Or
Maybe I don't. It is not. I agree with everything. I know I have to, reduce my expenses. Problem is finding where. Like sometimes it's very difficult to, say no to some things when the kids are asking for something. It is.
and I absolutely understand that. I absolutely understand that. And the only thing that I can tell you is it cannot happen in the moment. It cannot happen in the moment. Like I have personally been through a situation where we did not have money at all to do anything. And in that moment, if the kids asked for something, you almost felt like a failure and a loser to say no to them. And especially as a single parent, you would feel even more so, because you feel that you now have to play the role of both the sides and not just your side. And what I realized, the mistake that I made, which is what I'm trying to tell you, you could avoid, is don't be the person who reacts in that moment and say, no, let's go for something cheaper. Let's go for this later on. Instead, have the conversation about your context with them. And trust me, they will understand. They will understand. The same thing that you told me about your expenses, they should be aware of as well. Every single month, you as a family, the three of you and your pets, should sit down and go through the month's expenses and the income and recognize if there was a shortfall. And if you were to now tell them, where could we have saved money? I guarantee you, without knowing any one of you, they will come up with all the solutions. They'll be like, you know what, Mama? We could have saved here. We could have saved here. This was not needed. This was not needed. Because they don't have the full context. They don't understand what the situation is. And that is the money conversation that I wish families had with their kids.
Actually, 2 months back, I made a list of my expenses, a rough list, and I showed them to the kids. And I said, see, this is exceeding my income. So what should we do? And then my son said, maybe we should cut down on snacks.
Look at that. Like that's almost like an adult speaking. He's only in 7th grade, but he's talking like an adult. He understands that. And believe me, this is not something that is about you not having enough money. It is about the right way to live life. Life is not about spreading yourself to whatever you make. Like tomorrow, if you're making 75,000, your expenses should not be 75. Tomorrow, when you're making 1 lakh, your expenses should not be 1 lakh. Your expenses should not grow as your income grows. Because that means that you're just greedy in the way that you're living life. Your expenses should not go beyond a certain number, irrespective of your income. And if you were to throw that challenge to your kids, you'll be surprised at how much they will act as far wiser and more mature than maybe even you and I are. Give them that option. And then throw the challenge at them. Okay, oh, you know what? This is expenses. Well done. We as a family, I'm sure we'll get there. Now let's start thinking about income. How can we increase our income? What else can we do? Get them involved. If you do that as a family, you will not just come together, but you will also fight the problem that you're going through right now in a way that will be very gratifying. And I really, really hope that you do that, because the good thing seems to be that your situation is not hopeless at all. At all. Your situation is filled with hope. And I really admire the fact that during this entire conversation, where the viewers cannot see it, but you've had a smile on your face, despite all the hardships that you've been through, despite everything that life has thrown at you. And that's a sign of a very strong person. And I'm sure that strength will take you very far.
Thank you.
So I'm not worried for you. Yes.
Doubts which I need.
Please ask me.
So my health insurance coverage is 10 lakhs. Should I do it so that my premium will go low?
10 lakhs for all of you is, in my opinion, higher than required, because your kids are very young, so most likely they will not need the hospitalization. You are the prime beneficiary of the health insurance. So I think even if you kept it at 5 to 6 lakhs, it should suffice. I would have suggested lower if you were not in a tier 1 city, but because Bangalore is expensive from a healthcare perspective, I would say 5 to 6 lakhs should be okay. But when you start thinking of expenses, you first should think of all the discretionary expenses that you spend money on. And after that, stop. And then think of income. And if the income is not rising as fast or as much, then go to the next order of expenses, which are like health insurance. But cutting down on health insurance is not a very smart thing to save money, because your 10 lakhs cover, which costs you 24,000, if you go to a 6 lakh cover, it will be maybe 18,000, maybe 19,000. So you will only save like 500 rupees a month, which is not going to make a huge difference. But the 6 to 10 lakhs will make a huge difference when you need that money actually. So instead of that, you could easily save 500 rupees in food ordering.
Yes.
So first is discretionary, then income, then comes anything which is around growth or protection.
Okay. And the second thing is, I told you about what my cousin has with him. It's around 4,50,000 rupees. So what do you recommend? Should I just take it and invest it in something, or let it be with him so that
I would personally, if you ask me, take it from him, because right now that money is stale. What that means is it's not growing. So it's actually losing value every year because of inflation. So what I would do is I would take that money, put it into a debt mutual fund, not an equity mutual fund, a debt mutual fund, which will pay me a fixed rate of return slightly higher than FD.
Okay.
And just keep it there. Don't.
The whole amount I should put in a debt mutual fund.
Yes. And only use it the way that you are currently using it, which is whenever there is a gap, you ask your cousin for some money, say 50,000. So whenever there is a need, you sell that debt mutual fund of 50,000 rupees and take that money.
Okay.
But otherwise, it keeps growing to whatever extent it keeps growing. And that, in my opinion, will be a better way of doing it.
And, maybe after about 5 or 10 years, the kids will be off on their own. they'll finish this. It may be for their studies or for their job, they'll be gone. So I need to find somewhere to live, like a retirement facility or something like that. Is what I'm doing. So, so I need to have some money for that. So, what do you say? What should I do? Like, what should be the investment way?
The investment way should be what you're doing right now, which is you have an SIP going. That SIP, you will not go to a retirement facility after 10 years because you will not be like, why wouldn't you just stay in the way that you're staying right now? Maybe you can live in a community so that you have a social gathering, you have people around and so on, but you don't have to go to a retirement home or something. And you'll still be earning if you want to earn.
Yeah.
So there'll always be earning potential, whatever extent there is. So my suggestion is, as long as you're earning, keep investing. And whenever you want to stop earning, whenever it is, let's say at 40, 50, 60, whatever corpus you've built, you use that to stay in that retirement facility or in that community facility, whichever way it is. And most of these expenses that you have today will no longer be there because they'll take care of it. And it will be like a monthly rental of sorts. You don't have to buy anything, and certainly don't buy anything. Just keep renting out.
People are, a lot of my relatives are telling me, like, why don't you buy a house? You get a loan and buy a house because how long can you live in a rented house? You need a home for your own. Is it the right voice?
No. I will not recommend buying a house at all. Your income does not support it right now. If you end up buying a house, you are locked in for a really long time and you will be depleted of all possible investments that you can make. So I would not recommend that. I would say keep staying in a rent. In fact, the suggestion that I will make is that once your kids go to college, which will be 5 years after your son, you should consider moving to a smaller city. And that will save on a lot of your expenses. It will give you a slightly better lifestyle from a air perspective, food perspective, certainly financial perspective, and you can decide where you want to be. And that is what I would say, but just continue renting. Just absolutely continue renting. There's no point at all right now for you to be buying a house. If you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
45.
Yeah, so absolutely not. No.
Yeah, that's what I thought so. But, a lot of people are, telling me, oh, you're paying so much of rent. Why don't you put it into any?
No. That's the usual perception people have, but you're not going to a 17,000. So your total rent outflow is 18,500 if you include maintenance. That means if you take a 25-year loan, you will get a 18 to 20 lakhs loan. You will not get anything in 18 to 20 lakhs in Bangalore. Nothing. Like even if you want a room, you will not get it. So there's no point because the minimum thing will be like 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. That too very far away, wherever it will be.
Yes.
So you don't have that financial strength to make that investment. So please don't.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. I really wish you the best. And I, again, say this, I am really excited for how your future can unfold. And I'm sure the little that I have spoken to you the past 1 hour, you will be able to do it. So please, next 1 month, focus on your expenses, every single penny, focus on your income, bring your kids in, solve the problem together as a family. And within a few months, you'll be outside of this. I guarantee you.
I'll get back to you.
Awesome. Love it. All the best. Take care. See you. And thank you for spending time. Bye.
Thank you.
करियर को लेके मेरी चौथी किताब एक बहुत ही सिंपल, बहुत ही रिलेटेबल, बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकल जरिए से लिखी गई है। काश कि ये बुक मुझे किसी ने दी होती जब 24 साल की उम्र में मैं एकदम कंफ्यूज था कि अपने करियर के बारे में क्या करूं। अपनी जिंदगी की दिशा क्या बनाऊं। ये किताब मैंने उसी 24 साल के अंकुर के लिए लिखी है, आपके लिए लिखी है।